Hello, this is Media Dog with another CLTBoss tutorial. This one is for the automated scraping. I'm sorry, this is for a manual scraping. Manual scraping. I have a prior video for the automated. This is for manual scraping. I'm going to show you one little anomaly that we have that for the, at least for this release, I'm not going to try to fix because I'm just a little bit weary of changing the code and debugging the bugs that I put in when I change it. So I'll tell you about this, and then hopefully I'll clear this up at a later point. I'm choosing to scrape the name variant David K. Nami for no particular good reason other than I just happened to see this name in the contributions forum, and they're about the right number of profiles for a demo, so the demo doesn't drag on too long, and the results came out correct, so that's a good thing. All right, so for manual, we put in the name variant and manually populate the search field of the CLT browser. Whereas when we did the automatic process, this was populated automatically. And we do the search. Okay, so we're expecting 136 profiles and actually also 136 entries in the UPC list. They will not be unique, as you know, because a lot of the UPCs will be duplicated because there are multiple localities involved usually. So we're already on page 1, so let's scrape the displayed page in advance. Okay. And each time we get a 25, we know we're good, except for the last page, which will be the remainder. Be the remainder because of the there's not integral number of 25 pages profiles. Okay, so there we are, and let's look at the scraped UPCs. Now you'll notice that we have only 125. We're expecting 136. Just coincidentally, happens to be off by the same number of profiles as was in the last page. Turns out that's a coincidence. I had thought that was the bug, but it's not. It's a coincidence in this case. What's actually happening is that when we're scraping it manually, the code, the way I've got it organized, checks for duplicate UPCs. So if we go to this to the scraped UPCs grid, there are no duplicates. And I'll show you in a few minutes that when we do it automatically, my code flow internally apparently has somehow bypassed the duplicate check, because it really doesn't affect the final result, because the following scan takes into account that it's already processed a UPC. When you process the UPC and ask the online database, give me all profiles that are associated with this UPC. Well, when you've got them all, you've got them all. You don't need to process that UPC again. So I'm automatically weeding out duplicates in the scan, regardless of whether they've been weeded out during the scraping process. So I will demonstrate that. And go ahead and manually initiate the scan. And what CLTBoss is doing first is generating a list of candidate profiles by going to the online and saying, give me all the profile IDs that are associated with this particular UPC. And then I'm generating a dictionary of all of the profile IDs, unique profile IDs that are that I collect that way. Now, that should result in every profile that could potentially be a candidate for having credits for this name variant. Since I've collected all the UPCs and I've collected all the profile IDs associated with those UPCs and put them in a dictionary to account for any, so that I don't do duplicate work. And when I get done with that, generating that unique list of profile IDs, it's going to be about halfway of my progress bar here. By design, I just made it come out to be halfway when it's got part one of the task done. And if you'll bear with me, take a sip of coffee, have a cookie for another 30 seconds or so, or a minute. And notice we do have an elapsed time counter. You can point that out, an estimated finish time based on the progress to date. And that we'll beat that by a few seconds, because this process, the first half of this process, is slower than the second half of the process. So this is not a linear estimate. We are approaching the first half completion, and now we're actually going to begin scanning for credits using that list of unique profile IDs that were generated based on getting the associated profiles with these UPCs. And if my luck holds out for today, we'll get exactly 136 profiles that correspond to the CLT for which there are credits. And you see that the second half of this is obviously going much faster than the first half. As time goes by, if this tool is used and people find value in it, I will be motivated to continue to improve it, including hopefully performance. So we're closing in now, and if we should be so lucky, 136. There we go. So you see that even though we only had 125 UPCs, since the duplicates were screened out, it did not affect our ultimate result. We found the 136 profiles. Now, just to go ahead and just quickly demonstrate that when we do it manually, I'm going to clear everything out here. Clear this out. Now let's go ahead and do it manually. Oh, no, sorry. Why can't I get this right? Let's do it automatically. And we're going to, no, we won't do the scan. Let's just do the scrape, see what happens. So we do our little eye candy thing first and grab headshots. Now what we're doing is measuring the beginning and end pages by scanning the internals of the web browser, and now we've determined that there are 6 pages, and we're going to start looping between pages 1 through 6, and using a program called AutoIt, we are programmatically pressing this button to scrape the page and then advancing the web browser. The reason we're going through these gymnastics is that there's no way programmatically, in the way this is implemented, unfortunately, by Microsoft, no way for my program to know when the web browser has changed its contents that it's showing to the user, unless I force the user, or at least I find a way to make the program think that the user has actually done something. And that's why the AutoIt programmatically actually presses the button to make the browser think the user has clicked to the next page, and then my program can retrieve and scrape the UPCs from the page. Here's the audit report. I scraped 136 entries. They will not be unique entries. And if we go to the scraped UPCs page, you'll see that, in fact, the code I have written actually has 136 entries. I will work on the other code path so that even if you do it manually, you still wind up with the 136 non-unique entries. That's just a helpful indicator that the scrape went well. Let's sort this and see if we see any duplicates here. There obviously must be duplicates. I don't see them right away. But, oh, here's one. Okay. So here's an indication that it shows you what I was talking about. There are duplicate UPCs because these UPCs have different localities associated with them. And the way I've written my code, unfortunately, I'm not able to get this information. Trust me, it is a nightmare programming exercise to, first of all, click this, then detect this, and then find it in the web browser without the user without the user interacting with the screen. Now, if you still haven't hung up on me by now, I will tell you the other little piece of it. If I did automate this, what it would require would be to scrape this page, which is instantaneously. Watch this. See how quickly that's scraped? I've pulled all those UPCs out and all this information in the blink of an eye. Now, in order to finish the job, I would have to, under program control, click on each one of these entries and then scrape this information. At a minimum, the locality. So for each one of these pages, I have 25 additional operations. And because of the way the browser works, you would see 25 little pop-ups. You would go pip, 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 blink, 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 blink 25 times, and switch to the next page, blink, 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 blink 25 times, da-da-da-da. I chose not to do that. So you get 6 blinks followed by database calls to discover all of the possible localities that this UPC is associated with. And then I do the scan. And that's why the gymnastics. And I hope you understood it, and I hope you appreciate it. And I'm, at this point, over and out.